You've probably heard the term DevOps thrown around a ton. It's kind of the secret sauce behind how the world's top companies innovate so incredibly fast. But what does it really mean? Well, today, we're going to do more than just define a buzzword. We're going to break down the massive cultural and tech shift that's changing how software gets made, and we'll even peek into where it's all headed in 2026.
Okay, so what is DevOps really? It's one of the biggest buzzwords in tech for sure, but its true meaning gets lost pretty easily. Is it a job title, a tool you can buy, some new kind of software? The answer is actually a lot deeper than you might think, and it explains why some companies can push out new features every single day, while others feel like they're stuck in the past.
At its very heart, DevOps is a cultural philosophy. It's all about bringing together three key pillars: the people building the software, the processes they follow, and the products or tools they use. And the whole point of all this? To tear down the traditional walls that used to exist in software development so you can deliver real value to users, not just once in a blue moon, but continuously.
Now, to really get why this is such a big deal, you have to see the before and after. In the old world, you had these siloed teams. Developers would write some code and then just poof, throw it over the wall to the operations team to deal with. This created so much friction, a lot of blame games, and these incredibly slow, super risky releases. The DevOps way, it completely flips that on its head. It's about one team with a shared sense of responsibility, owning something from the very first idea all the way to running it for customers. And the result? Fast, reliable updates that can react to the market in hours, not months.
You know, the entire DevOps mindset can be boiled down to one super powerful phrase. You build it, you run it. It means the very same engineers who write the code are also the ones responsible for making sure it runs smoothly out in the wild. And that sense of ownership, it's a total game changer. Believe me, when you're the one who's going to get a page at 3 a.m. if something breaks, you're suddenly way more motivated to build really high-quality, solid software from the get-go.
All right, so how does this whole thing actually work in practice? Well, the key metaphor for the DevOps lifecycle is what we call the infinite loop. I want you to think of it like a map for the journey. A journey that takes a feature from just a simple idea to a running service for millions of users, and then uses their feedback to start the whole trip all over again. This loop, right here, it shows you the whole journey. It all starts with the plan, where we define our ideas. Then developers bring those ideas to life in the code stage. After that comes this really critical automated step, build and test, where we're checking for quality constantly. Once it passes, the code is released and deployed out to our users. And finally, we operate and monitor it, watching how it's doing and gathering feedback. And guess what? That feedback goes right back into the plan stage for the next great idea. It's a continuous, never-ending cycle of improvement. So, if that infinite loop is our map, then what's the engine that actually powers the whole journey? What's the thing that makes that incredible speed possible? That would be CI/CD. This is where the real magic of automation happens, turning what used to be manual, error-prone tasks into a flawless, high-speed process.
Probably the best way to wrap your head around CI/CD is to picture a futuristic assembly line. Seriously. But instead of building cars, this assembly line builds, tests, and ships software. It moves code from a developer's keyboard all the way to the customer, automatically and efficiently, 24 hours a day.
So the first stop on our assembly line is continuous integration, or CI for short. This is where developers are merging their code changes into a shared place, not once a month, but multiple times a day. Every single one of those merges kicks off an automated build and a whole battery of tests to catch bugs instantly. And here's the most important part. If a test fails, the entire assembly line stops. Everything grinds to a halt until it's fixed. Quality isn't just an afterthought, it's built right into the process. Okay, so once the code has passed all those automated checks in CI, it moves to the final station, continuous deployment, or CD. This is the fully automated release of that new, shiny, successfully tested code directly to your users. No manual steps, no waiting for a big, stressful release day. It's just a smooth, constant flow of value straight to the customer. This allows for super rapid feedback and iteration. Now, you might also hear the term continuous delivery, which is almost the same, but with one key difference. A human has to push the final button to release. Either way, the goal is always speed and reliability. But wait a minute, how do you actually ship new code all the time without, breaking everything for your users? Well, there are two really clever strategies for this: blue-green deployment and Canary releases. With blue-green, you run two identical production environments. You deploy the new code to the green one, which is inactive, test it out, and then just flip a switch to send all the traffic over. The old blue environment, it just hangs out as an instant, risk-free backup. A Canary release is a bit more cautious. You roll out the new feature to just a tiny slice of your users, say 5%. Like a canary in a coal mine. If everything looks good, you gradually ramp up the traffic. This way, you minimize the blast radius if there happens to be a bug. All right, we've got the fundamentals down. Now, let's jump in our time machine and look ahead. The world of DevOps is always changing, always evolving, driven by new challenges and some absolutely incredible new tech. So let's explore the cutting-edge trends that are defining what DevOps is going to look like in 2026 and beyond. There are really three huge forces shaping the future here. First, you've got AIOps, which brings the predictive power of artificial intelligence into keeping systems online. Then there's GitOps, which radically simplifies how we manage all our infrastructure by treating it just like any other piece of code. And finally, DevSecOps, which is all about shifting left, baking security into every single step of that assembly line, instead of tacking it on at the end as an afterthought. Now, AIOps. This is a serious game changer. Instead of having humans staring at dashboards trying to find a needle in a haystack, AIOps uses machine learning to sift through just mountains of system data. It can spot these incredibly complex patterns and actually predict failures before they can affect users. It lets teams be proactive instead of reactive. It's the difference between scrambling to fix an outage and preventing one from ever happening in the first place. So to make all this feel a bit more real, let's talk about the actual tools that pros are using to build these advanced systems today. For defining your infrastructure as code, tools like Terraform are king, letting you build an entire data center with just text files. For containerization, something like Docker packages up an application so it runs exactly the same everywhere. To manage those containers at massive scale, the undisputed industry standard is Kubernetes, or K8s. And, of course, driving that whole automated process, you have CI/CD engines like GitHub Actions and GitLab CI.
Okay, wow, we have covered a lot, right? We've gone from culture to code to cutting-edge AI. So let's bring it all together. What is the big takeaway here? Why does any of this actually matter outside of the tech world?
So here's what I really want you to walk away with. First, DevOps is not a tool you can just buy. It's a cultural shift toward collaboration and real ownership. Second, the engine that powers this culture is relentless automation, specifically through that CI/CD assembly line we talked about. And finally, the ultimate business goal of all of this is to get better ideas to customers faster with higher quality and more security than ever before. It's really about how you win in today's digital world.
And that, right there, leads us to a pretty mind-bending final thought. As these automated assembly lines for software get faster and smarter and more integrated with AI, the technical roadblocks to actually delivering something, they're just vanishing. So when the process of shipping an idea becomes this seamless, the new bottleneck isn't the technology anymore. It's the quality of our ideas themselves. Which makes you wonder, what's the new limit for human innovation?